Hey, welcome back. The time now is 7:42, and we are joined by Elsbeth Fast, a licensed sleep therapist from True Sleep Therapy in Fayetteville. You have all the tips that we need right now.
Thank you so much for being here today. We've got all the questions. We got to get back into that sleep routine. So first, let's talk about, it's been a long summer, kids staying up, we've been doing that. How do we sort of get that through the battle and get back into a routine?
Such a great question. And now is the perfect time to be doing this with school starting, I think, August 11th and 12th for a lot of the local public schools. So I would advise parents to even start as early as tomorrow morning by shifting the wake time in 15-minute increments. You could do 30-minute increments if you have a kid sleeping in quite late and you really need to shift back several hours. But what happens if you shift their wake time and they start getting up earlier in 15-minute increments, it's not that jarring 3-hour difference the day school starts and you are miserable the entire day. So doing it very gradually is helpful. What then happens is kids are ready for bed a little bit earlier every night leading up to school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to talk about getting ready for bed. I think a lot of times we're like, okay, well, we can just give melatonin and people will fall asleep. Is it safe to give kids melatonin? Is that something that you recommend as we're getting back into the swing of things?
Another excellent question. I would always tell parents, check with your child's pediatrician before giving melatonin. Melatonin is a supplement and a hormone, and we don't have a lot of research on the long-term effects of melatonin. The American Academy of Pediatrics does not recommend routine or prolonged use of melatonin in children. There are some cases with neurodevelopmental disorders like autism spectrum disorder and ADHD where melatonin might be warranted. But in the case of melatonin, less is usually more. But because it's not regulated by the FDA as a supplement, the amount, even within the same bottle by the same manufacturer, varies wildly. So you kind of don't know what you're getting with melatonin, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about, caffeine, how much that impacts our kids' sleep.
Oh, yes, it's a big deal. And again, the American Academy of Pediatrics does not recommend caffeine use at all in children under the age of 12. Mm-hmm. For kids that are 12 to 18, they recommend a cap of 100 milligrams a day, which is basically like one iced tea from a fast food place, basically. Mm-hmm. These big coffees from Starbucks and energy drinks are really concerning in the young adult population, especially for the cardiovascular implications. They can set off an arrhythmia within somebody's heart. They can create anxiety in children. So in college students and adults, caffeine used strategically in the morning to block adenosine, which is a chemical that causes sleepiness. Caffeine is, quite helpful, but the half-life of caffeine is long. It can be, in some cases, 5, 7, 10 hours in some people. So you want your caffeine earlier in the day, front-load caffeine, but for kids, I would avoid caffeine as much as possible, especially under the age of 12.
We're definitely front-loading around here.
Yes, and you don't think about just a sweet tea from a fast food restaurant that has caffeine. So some people have that before bed, so that's good to think about. Yes. Okay, this one's not just for kids, it's for adults too. Screen time before bed. We're always recommended to put the phones away.
Yes.
Why is that, and how long before do we need to put them away?
Well, what's really interesting, we have some newer research showing that it's less about the blue light from these devices and more about how we're interacting with them that disrupts our sleep. So the easiest recommendation is no screen time an hour before bed. But the earlier that you can shut down your screens and electronics, it's hard though because a lot of students are doing schoolwork right up until bedtime. But you really need to have a buffer time between I'm winding down now, the day is done, I'm preparing for sleep. So powering off electronics an hour before bed for children and teenagers and college students and adults, maybe everybody, having those electronics out of the bedroom is really important. Do not use your cell phone as an alarm clock. Get an old school alarm clock.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Yeah. Make it harder for yourself to scroll because especially the these screens are very interactive as opposed to watching television or reading, which is a more passive activity. The more that we're clicking on things, and of course, social media is strategically designed to keep us scrolling. So they definitely disrupt sleep.
So even if someone's watching a show on their phone, like they have Netflix on their phone, not a good idea?
Yeah, not a good idea. It's too tempting, if there's a commercial break, to go to Instagram or to get diverted. You also hold those screens very close to your face, and there's some research being done that the length of the screen from the actual retina of your eye makes a difference.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, some good advice. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We appreciate it. We need this right now,
yes,
right?
We do.
It's a very important time. Thank you for being here. She'll be back with us at 8:30. We're going to ask her some more questions, so you definitely don't want to miss that.